Todos sabíamos que Donald Trump iba a intentar hacer algún tipo de truco antes de esta enorme conferencia de prensa. Se ha informado que podría haber hasta 100 víctimas de Jeffrey Epstein y de Ghislaine Maxwell, que al menos estarán en el Capitolio, y también escucharemos a algunas víctimas que nunca antes han hablado. Esta conferencia de prensa, que está siendo liderada por el congresista Ro Khanna, se está analizando de una forma bipartidista. Ro Khanna y Thomas Massie han sido muy firmes durante todo el procedimiento, a pesar de todas las maniobras que Donald Trump está intentando. Hace unos días se recibió un mensaje de Ana Paulina Luna, quien afirmó presidir un comité enfocado en este tema. Esto fue lo que escribió: la supervisión del Partido Republicano y James Comer van a publicar los archivos de Jeffrey Epstein en un sitio web de acceso público en cualquier momento. Se están subiendo todos ahora mismo. No creo que la votación para liberar los archivos de Jeffrey Epstein, dado que ya se han hecho públicos. Wow, están entregando todos los archivos de Jeffrey Epstein. Luego Ana Paulina Luna escribe: todos los documentos de Jeffrey Epstein han sido subidos aquí. Todos. Así que obviamente le hice clip a este enlace para ver de qué se trataba, si a lo mejor si habían puesto nuevos documentos. Pero aparentemente eran los mismos 33.000 documentos que yo no sé si escucharon mis noticias la semana pasada, pero hablamos de que enviaron 33.000 documentos que aparentemente eran los archivos de Jeffrey Epstein, cuando en realidad eran 97 y 98% en similitud con archivos que ya eran públicos. Pero me pregunto yo, ¿podrían ser ellos tan descarados? ¿Podrían creer que el pueblo estadounidense es tan estúpido? El Comité de Supervisión de la Cámara confirmaron que los documentos publicados por Ana Paulina Luna y James Comer son exactamente las mismas 33.000 páginas de documentos de Jeffrey Epstein que ya habían recibido, el 97% ya públicos, y que forman parte de un plan más amplio para bloquear la transparencia. Ron Filipkowski escribe: se aplazaron por más de un mes para evitar votar sobre la liberación de los archivos de Jeffrey Epstein. Y este es el mejor engaño que pudieron idear para engañar a la gente que planeó esta brillante estrategia. Bien, volvimos al tema principal de esta conferencia de prensa: las víctimas de Ghislaine Maxwell y de Jeffrey Epstein. Esto incluyendo que varios sobrevivientes de estas personas van a estar ahí. Contarán su historia y al mismo tiempo una petición de descarga que está avanzando dentro de la Cámara de Representantes. Que ya sabemos desde ya que Mike Johnson está haciendo todo lo posible para atrasarla o estancarla y obstruir una votación real sobre este asunto. Así que Thomas Massie ha presentado su petición de descarga, y Massie, republicano de Kentucky, dice que hay una campaña de presión desde la Casa Blanca en este momento sobre 11 republicanos que copatrocinaron su proyecto de ley sobre Jeffrey Epstein para que no firmen la petición. Creo que también hay algunos que la Casa Blanca no está presionando, que podrían estar inclinados a firmarla. En otras palabras, continúa un encubrimiento completo por parte de la Casa Blanca justo en la víspera de que las víctimas de Jeffrey Epstein hablen públicamente. Ahora veremos la entrevista realizada por Ro Khanna, quien ha sido uno de los líderes en esta demanda de transparencia. Miren el clip, por favor.
There'll be a bombshell press conference tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. It's the first time after over a decade that the American people are going to hear from the survivors of the Epstein abuse. And they're going to talk not just about Epstein's abuse and Maxwell's abuse, but about rich and powerful men who abused young girls. Here's the reality. This is about restoring trust in government. This is about protecting America's kids. This is about standing with survivors. Now, I want to break some news. Not only is Thomas Massie going to be there, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be there. So this is not partisan. This is patriotic. And for the first time since Donald Trump walked down the escalator, we are going to have progressives, moderates, independents, and MAGA supporters on the same side, demanding truth and justice. And this is really a wake-up call for the Trump White House.
I understand that there are survivors who are on Capitol Hill today, and they've been sharing their stories behind closed doors with members of Congress. We saw Nancy Mace leave the room, and she was crying, and she said, as a survivor of sexual assault, she said that it was very hard to hear the stories that she was hearing. But she then also posted that the files are being released, the 33,000 pages, but we all know that those 33,000 pages aren't the Epstein files as we think about them, the real stuff that's out there. What can you share? Obviously, you know, there's some of this that's going to be revealed tomorrow for the first time, but what can you share about some of, you've been speaking with a lot of these survivors. What can you share in terms of what else we can expect tomorrow morning?
So I and Thomas Massey have actually not spoken to the survivors on purpose. We've only spoken to their lawyers. And the reason is we want the survivors to speak their stories. We don't want anyone to say, oh, did Massey or Khanna say what they should speak tomorrow? They are going to tell their stories. They have not talked to anyone on either of our staffs. And the American people are going to get to decide. But what we have been told by their lawyers is that they are going to say that they need the files released for closure. And they're going to be talking about many rich and powerful men who abused young girls who have not been brought to justice. Now, the reality is, and you pointed this out, and Ron pointed this out, the quote unquote distraction today was re-releasing the files that already had been released that are less than 1% of the Epstein files. How do we know it's less than 1%? Because the FBI told us that there are 300 gigabytes of files and 33,000 pages is less than 1%. It's less than 1 gigabyte. And of that, 97% are already public. Now, you say, well, why are they doing this? Because the Trump administration is usually used to pulling the wool over people's eyes and people just move on. And Trump's word has basically been gospel for his base. Why is it not going to work this time? First, people are paying too much attention, too closely. And when the American people tune in on something, you can't fool the American people. And secondly, we have people like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and other MAGA supporters. You can't impeach their MAGA credentials who are speaking out. So that's why this is a crisis for the Trump White House.
So in that, I want to be clear in my language, because I was just reading a post from Nancy Mace where she had said, I had a very difficult time listening to their stories. And then she says, full blown panic attack, sweating, hyperventilating, shaking. I can't breathe. What was shared was what the lawyers were saying, maybe
No.
what's happening. I just want to get the right facts.
There's two different things. There's some of the survivors who met with the oversight committee and they requested a private meeting to share some of their stories. Some of those overlap with the ones who want to be public tomorrow. Others don't overlap with the ones who are going to be public tomorrow. Tomorrow, between 8 to 10 of the victims and survivors are going to talk about their experience and what they want to see as an action tomorrow. Massey and I decided not to meet with them because we didn't want to in any way be seen as saying, okay, here's what we want you to say tomorrow, or here's how we want to influence it. We wanted to keep an arm's length so that their stories are going to be unfiltered and what they really want to tell the American public.
So let's talk about, though, the actual files that are still not being produced. Is the plan by Trump and others to say, this is it? This 33,000 is a large number, so here you go. This is everything. I mean, is the plan as stupid as that? Like, what happens next with the files?
Well, I think they're going to keep doing these kind of drip by drip and hope that this thing goes away. Tomorrow is going to make that impossible after people hear from some of these victims. But the other issue is that the American people are following this with such interest. I mean, when Pam Bondi did that initial release, within hours, people in the MAGA base said these documents are already public. And they are just shocked because usually Trump says something and it just goes away. Oh, I'm going to bring peace to Ukraine on day one. Well, he didn't. Well, okay, that was a promise and I've broken it and I don't care. I'm not going to cut Medicaid. Well, he just did. We're just going to move on. And so you can't blame the White House after 10 years of this kind of pattern for thinking, well, they're just going to move on. And you know that they haven't been successful. And the reason they haven't been successful, this kind of goes to the rationale of the Trump candidacy. People didn't think he was a moral character who voted for him. They didn't think he was going to necessarily have the plans to fully better their lives, but they wanted him to destroy the corrupt government. They wanted him to expose the corrupt government. They said, even if he's not the perfect guy, even if he has an imperfect character, we know that he's going to finally expose a government that is corrupt, that is co-opted, that is protecting rich and powerful men who have abused young girls. He's going to blow a whistle and expose it all. And his backing away from that fundamental promise to MAGA is undermining his trust with the base. And here's where the Democrats can come in. Here's where we can lead. where we could say we are on the side of the people, we're on the side of the truth. We don't care if 80% of the people in those files are Democrats. It doesn't matter, whoever they are. If they're on our side, on their side, we want the truth. We want it released. And that is a party of reform. It's a party that's not just partisan. It's a party that's not just anti-Trump. It's a party that is for the people.
Para finalizar, escucha su mensaje para las víctimas de Jeffrey Epstein. Mira, por favor.
Tomorrow is about the victims, that we all as a country can stand with the victims. Their stories have been ignored, not just during the Trump years. Their stories have been ignored for the past 15 years. This is going to be their moment. Remember, it's about standing with the victims. It's about protecting America's kids. It's about restoring trust. It's not just that we will do right by these victims. It's that maybe we can find some common ground in this country. That when it comes to rich men, powerful men, assaulting young girls, that's where we draw the line as a nation, regardless of political ideology. That's where we say those men need to be held accountable. That doesn't happen in the United States of America. Release the Epstein files, have accountability, restore trust. We need a movement for that tomorrow.
Y bien amigos, ese fue el video de hoy día, espero que te haya gustado. Yo cumplí mi misión, que es informarte como siempre lo hago. Además, como siempre te digo, para mí lo más importante es tu opinión y me encantaría que la pongas en los comentarios. Además, si te gusta el contenido de política estadounidense, te gusta saber lo que realmente está pasando en Estados Unidos, te va a encantar suscribirte al canal, ya que subo videos todos los días. Mi nombre es José Alvarado, soy economista y estoy comprometido a informarte diariamente. Nos vemos en el siguiente video. Adiós.